Hi, give me 1 minute.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, I'm ready.
No, just can you please put on the PPT here?
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was that?
Hello, everyone. I hope you all can see, have a look at this picture. This marks an important moment when India started as a humble nation, transporting the parts of rocket on the cycle's backseat. This image has been set as a reminder how far India has come in the last 40 years. From its modest beginnings in the 1970s to its recent historic achievement as the first nation to successfully land a spacecraft on the moon's south pole. Those were the times when the technology had been taken from other leading countries before India became self-reliant. As a nation, we have achieved what was impossible back then. Dear students and everyone present here, a warm welcome to each and everyone. Today, when we end this session, I want you all to take back one simple message. If you believe it, you can do it. And that is what even the keynote speaker today will make you believe. As we talk about our journey to space, I'm delighted to share a story of a boy. I want you all to close your eyes and imagine a sky full of stars. Imagine a young boy gazing up with his eyes filled with wonder. From the moment he could talk, he dreamt of uncovering the secrets of space. Books of the universe were his treasure maps, and science and math were his companions. Years passed, and his passion grew stronger. Little did we know, this boy, with stars in his eyes and heart full of curiosity, was about to become the man behind many significant space projects. Yes, all my friends who've joined from different parts of the country, I would like each one of you to welcome Mr. Jared Wilhite. it's an honor to say that, he's one of this very same young boy has now grown into NASA's most renowned and celebrated faces. He is, Mr. Jared, we're delighted to have you here with us.
Thank you, Sakshi. That was a very nice introduction. It's great to be here with all of you today.
So, Mr. Jared is an aerospace engineer in NASA's Glenn Research Center. His work includes modeling, designing, and analyzing aerospace systems and vehicles. He joined NASA more than a decade ago and has been the driving force behind pivotal projects like Artemis and the groundbreaking work in X-57 Maxwell. It's an all-electric aircraft. And Artemis, it's a very famous program that, NASA is running, where the mission, the objective is that we will be able to land the first woman and man on moon and, establishing. So we will be talking about these projects later on. So Mr. Jared, these young students, these viewers are buzzing with curiosity right now, eager to know more about your life, your accomplishments, your struggles. And I'm sure they want to hear all of this directly from you. Over to you.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, it's great to be here. I see a lot of people in the chat saying good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. So since I was 3 years old, I was very fascinated with everything related to space. So yeah, pretty much I was always reading books about planets, the solar system, space flight, anything you could think of that's related to space or NASA. And we have a science center here in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born and raised, and that's where I live right now. And I remember that was my favorite field trip that I went on as a kid, and that just propelled me even further into a career in space flight. So I knew that's what I wanted to do at a very young age. And growing up through school, math and science were always my favorite subjects. And I tried to excel in everything, but those were always the two that I gravitated towards. So when it came time for high school, my teachers, they knew what my skill set was, and they told me to pursue engineering. I didn't know a whole lot about it starting off, but the more I learned, the more fascinated and enamored I became with it. I learned about the different types of engineering. Aerospace, of course, that appealed to me the most because you get to design things that fly, so like rockets, satellites, aircraft, space, any type of spacecraft. And I also saw that there's rocket design competition, and I ended up becoming the team lead on that. And our team was very close to winning that as well. And just all of those experiences basically brought me to where I am today. And when I was a student at the University of Cincinnati, that's the college that I attended, I had pursued aerospace engineering, of course. And I interned at NASA Glenn. So while I was taking classes, I had the opportunity to work as an intern, and I learned from a lot of different engineers who were working for decades, like several years, on different engineering projects. So that was a really great experience, and that really helped me get to where I am today at NASA. And I've been a full-time employee at NASA Glenn Research Center for almost 7 years. So it's been an incredible journey.
Indeed, it was an incredible journey, and it's surely a captivating story. I've heard it before this also. So I want to know, Jared, sir, like you said, that there was a turning point in your life when you went to that, all these students are very young. So what was the turning point? Was that your visit to that NASA Space Research Center when you were very young, that you decided that you want to join NASA?
So really the turning point was actually in my preschool. We learned about the different planets, and something about that just sparked an interest in me. And I remember I went with my mom to the library, which was pretty much like right down the street from us. Like it was so close you could walk to it. And there were just so many books there, and I went immediately to the science section, and I checked out a lot of books that were related to planets and things like that. And then I would say what propelled me even further in that direction was the field trip to the Science Center.
So it
Yeah, I
started
think
almost from the preschool, right? So when you were
exactly.
going to
Yeah.
the library and you were reading books about it, you were always interested in science.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so like you are like, we got to know about you working on very pivotal projects, important projects of NASA, like Artemis, like X-57, and you're always working on technology and science since a very young age. So how important do you believe it is for students to learn about science and technology, specifically about coding and artificial intelligence nowadays, given that we rely on technology nearly in every aspect of our lives?
Yes, that's an excellent question. You're right. We rely so much on technology, especially in today's day and age. And as we all know, everyone on this call knows that technology, it's continuing to advance at such a rapid rate pretty much every day. And that's why skills such as coding, technology development, engineering, anything within the STEM field is incredibly important now more than ever, so that we can keep continuing to advance technology. And coding specifically, that helps you develop a skill set that's specifically geared towards AI or pretty much anything, but it complements artificial intelligence or AI very well. And I guess for instance, learning coding, it helps you become more adept with you know, analytical reasoning, algorithmic understanding, so you can develop AI based algorithms, and also cutting edge applications as well.
So like, yeah, you said that, and I think in future, most of the jobs would have a lot of like, inclusion of technology and coding per se, artificial intelligence. So I think it will become mandatory for us to learn this and include this in our school curriculum and, learn it at a very young age. And in India also, like, we have changed our education policy, and from grade 6 itself, we have introduced coding now, and, making children like future ready for that.
That's
So
great. Yeah,
now,
that's really good.
yes, now it's time to give the chance to your young minds who want to ask you all the questions that they might have. And I would like to start. Vamakshi Singh. Yes,
Yes,
Vamakshi, you wanted to ask a question.
yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. My name is Vamakshi Singh. I study in the Ideal Scholars Support School. I am so excited to meet you, sir. I was waiting for this day since I was told in my school that I'll get an opportunity to meet you. Respected sir, my question to you is, I heard in the news that alien bodies were found in Mexico. Is there any proof of their existence? Do they really exist? What is your call on this?
Thank you. It was nice to meet you as well. Yeah, so it's funny. I did briefly hear about that story, and I'm not sure what the validity is for like specifically alien bodies, but I know that the U.S. government, they did confirm that there was a UFO sighting um, on a few different occasions. So I do believe there is life out there, but we just have to have definitive proof of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering my question. I was eagerly waiting for you to answer, and it is a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you too.
So we always, I think it's always the most like, favorite question of all the students, whether aliens exist, and not just students, like everybody, we want to know about the life, outside this planet, if it exists or not. So yeah, there have been some findings recently, and I think, yes, like you said, that there might be life outside. So next question, let's take from Arush. Arush, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, madam.
Yes,
Hello.
Arush, we can hear you. Arush?
Hello. Hi, Daksh. Hi. Hi, Shiksham.
Yes, Arush, you can ask now.
Ma'am, my doubt is that the compounds found in that Mexico alien species was of
Hello. What is your name?
Good evening.
Name
Hello,
is
sir.
Kulku
Can I ask
Satek.
a question?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Good evening, ma'am.
Hey.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, Arush, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can ask a question.
Ma'am, my video is not getting on.
It's okay, ask your question.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Arush Tonge from Apex International School. My question to you is, sir, which was your favorite subject in school and when you decide to become an aerospace engineer?
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. So, I might have mentioned this before. My favorite subjects in school were math and science. And as I went to high school, those became more specialized. So, um, out of each, out of all the different levels of math, I think calculus was my favorite class. And that was really because of my teacher. He was really nice, a really good guy. And pretty much all the science courses I really enjoyed them. It's like biology, chemistry, physics, of course, being an engineer, and how I got into aerospace engineering. So when I was in 11th or 12th grade, that was when I started going on different college visits. So I knew I wanted to study engineering. It was just what type of engineering, right? So I looked at the different types, and when I saw the poster for aerospace engineering with the rockets and aircraft on it, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I learned more about it when I got home, and that I'd never looked back really. And as I took more and more classes, I knew that I was in the right field.
Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
Yeah, thank you.
What's your favorite subject, Arush?
Maths.
Oh, you can do high five with Jared, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question is coming from Sanvi.
Oh, Sakshi, real quick. So I see a lot of people in chat are asking where I'm from. So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, which is in America. So yeah.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
wanted to
for
answer.
answering that
Yeah.
question. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Mhm.
Okay, so next question is coming from Sanvi. Sanvi, are you there? Okay, I'll just quickly move to the next question. Kalp. Kalp Serasia. Yes, Kalp, you can ask your question.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Hello to one and all present here. I feel privileged that I get to interact with Mr. Jared Wilhite. My name is Kalp Serisia and I study in Grade 8 Innovative International School, Rajkot. My question to you, sir, is could you share any interesting discoveries from your work at NASA? This would be a great source of information for students like me who are interested in this field.
All right, it's nice to meet you too, Kalp. Yeah, so discovery, I guess I could share a project I've worked on recently. So when I first started working at NASA full time, I worked on the Orion spacecraft project. So I got to basically model and design so let me start from the beginning. So with the like any spacecraft, you have to test it. So the test that I was involved in was called thermal vacuum test. So you place the spacecraft inside of a very large thermal vacuum chamber, and you test it to make sure that it can withstand a wide temperature range when it's in space. So from negative 250 degrees Fahrenheit all the way to 300. So extreme hot to extreme cold temperature. So I was heavily involved in that test. So I got to model and design the thermal vacuum chamber that we would test in. And I also got to help with the actual test. And then Orion, it ended up flying out Artemis 1. So I can say that I got to work on a project that went to the moon.
Thank you, sir. That was very interesting to know. It was great to see you and interact with you. Hope to meet you again.
Thank you.
Okay, so next question is coming from Nazaria. So many kids are raising hand. It's very difficult
Yeah.
to choose. Nazaria?
Hello, sir, ma'am, and everyone present here. Thanks for letting me put my question forward, and I'm really excited to ask my question to you. My name is Asriya, and I'm an 8th grader at Siddhartha Silver School, Kerala, India. So my question to you is, behind every success, there will be a motivating story. So what motivated you to join NASA?
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Yeah, so I guess what motivated me to join NASA was just my fascination with all things related to space from a very young age. I was blessed to be exposed to it at such a young age. And I think that's really important for young people like yourself to not only be exposed to engineering, but pretty much all different fields out there. So you can see what you're most interested in. So yeah, that's what motivated me to join. And also, as I mentioned, pursuing engineering, that became clear to me like the higher up that I went. So like in my high school years.
Thank you so much for answering my question, and it was great to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so who wants to ask the next question? Azim Ashraf. Azim, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes. Please ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute. Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity I've been given. My name is Azim Ashraf. I'm 13 years old and I study in Alphala School. My question is, how do space research organizations come up with new ideas for their next planned mission, sir?
Hi, nice to meet you. Yes, that's a very good question. So as engineers, it's our job to solve problems that you can either solve problems that everyday people have or just answer burning questions that people have, whether it's about space or anything in the world. So the way that we come up with our projects is, I guess, one example would be we want to reduce emissions, like CO2 emissions from, from aircraft. So one way that we're trying to tackle that is design more efficient engines. So turning from fuel burning to hybrid electric aircraft. And you also see this with cars as well, your Teslas and electric cars. So I guess that's one way to solve that problem. We're also looking into all electric aircraft. And that's got a pretty long way to go just because of finding the batteries that can sustain that kind of the range that you need them to go. But yeah, pretty much we come up with different problems or different questions that we want to solve, and that's what motivates space research.
So, like, I want to add to it, Jared, that, like, basically you decide, like, in NASA, we come to know about like big projects going on that you want to go to moon or to Mars or, to the space station. So is there a priority list? Like, how do you decide which one is more important?
Yes, that's a good question. So, and I'll have to go back a little bit to the 60s. So, basically there was the space race in the 60s, right? So that motivated us to travel to the moon in the first place so that we could beat the Soviets to the moon, which we did. And now it's really, once we did that, going to the moon didn't really have much purpose. Like, we did it, so now what? But now, since I believe it was Chandrayaan-1, that's where they discovered that there was water ice on the south pole of the moon. And now, so there's more motivation to return to the moon, and we can do it more sustainably. We have more advanced technology. We have not just NASA, but all kinds of different industries, different organizations and private, different people in the private sector that are able to help us get back to the moon. So we can do it at a much lower cost. And really, it just depends on time and money and safety. Those are the main factors.
So, like, you talked about Chandrayaan-1 here, so I also want to add one more question here, that India recently achieved a significant milestone by becoming the first country to soft land on the south pole of the moon with Chandrayaan-3. So what are your thoughts on this achievement? Where is it going to take us? And also, do you envision a potential collaboration between NASA and ISRO in future?
Yeah, so Chandrayaan-3, that was an incredible achievement that was achieved by ISRO, and India should be very proud of this because India became, as probably you all know, the fourth country to land a spacecraft on the moon. And you're actually the first to reach anywhere near the South Pole. And it's no easy feat to accomplish that. So the South Pole, it's known as like having incredibly rough terrain, as well as a lot of, it doesn't get much sunlight, very little sunlight. So that makes navigation and communication very difficult. So the fact that ISRO was able to pull this off, it's just it's nothing short of outstanding. So, and I think that there is a chance for ISRO and NASA to collaborate. Actually, they're working on some kind of synthetic aperture radar, which will observe like movements in the land mass around Earth, like both land and ice, just to hopefully tackle or learn more about how the climate is changing. So that's one project that they're collaborating on. And I think there's definitely opportunities for them to collaborate on, going back to the moon, especially as we look to establish a more sustainable presence on the moon going forward, like not just sending astronauts there and back, but also, developing a habitat on the moon, a lunar base, and also Gateway, which is the space station that will orbit the moon. I believe ISRO can definitely play a part in that because with Chandrayaan, they've definitely established themselves as a strong force in the space flight.
Thank you so much for answering that question. It was very important for all of us. And now the next question is coming from Niharika.
Hello everyone. I am truly grateful to get this opportunity. My name is Jeannie Harika. I study in St. Gabriel's High School, Telangana, India. I have two questions for you, Jared sir. My first question is, what is the difference between a NASA aerospace engineer and a NASA scientist?
Hi, it's nice to meet you as well. So, not here, slight echo. So the difference between, I guess, engineers and scientists, I guess scientists, they come up with, I guess, ideas as to how to solve a particular problem. This kind of ties into my answer that I gave a little earlier. But yeah, scientists, they're more, I guess, on the research side. Engineers, we take that research and design and develop the technology that scientists want us to develop. So we work very closely with scientists, and there's really a lot of crossover between the two, and sometimes the lines get blurred, but yeah, I would say that's the major difference. It's research on one side and then more development on the other.
Are there any opportunities for girls in the field of aerospace engineering?
Absolutely. I think we've become more and more progressive as a society, and there's definitely opportunities for women in space, like not just aerospace, but all the engineering fields. There's actually an organization, when I was going to school, there's an organization called SWEs, like the Society of Women Engineers. And I think just organizations like that really help give more opportunities for women in science and STEM.
Thank you for answering my question, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Niharika, whichever field you want to go to, there is an opportunity, irrespective of whether you're a boy or a girl. Never think about that. Okay, so the next question is coming from Norman. Norman, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I am there. Good evening, Jared sir. I am delighted to have been given this chance. My name is Nauman from Alfala School. Jared sir, my question to you is, now that we have reached Mars and the Moon, we all would like to know that, is there any feasibility that we can live there? If yes, then how much more time will it take to become a reality, sir?
Hi, it's nice to meet you too. Yeah, that's a very good question. So we're like, yes, you're right. We've landed astronauts on the moon, and we're about to do it again in a few years, hopefully. And Mars, we still haven't sent people to Mars yet, but there are plans to do so. I think that it really depends on the next couple decades, I feel like, because as I mentioned, one of the goals going back to the moon is to establish a sustainable presence. So going there to stay and learning how to live and work in an outer space environment. And I think the moon will answer a lot of questions, whether we can do that, whether we can harvest the resources on the moon, like the water ice, and turning that into whether it's water that you can drink or rocket fuel, like breaking down the water into hydrogen, oxygen. Whether we can do things like that, harvesting resources. And I think that will basically answer the question of whether we can live in outer space for a long period of time.
Thank you, Jared sir.
Thank
So
you.
Norman, we'll have to wait for a couple of decades, maybe like 20 years from now
Yeah.
to make it a reality, that means. So yes, but we'll be there to see that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next question is coming from Siri.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank my school for giving me this opportunity. My name is Siri. I'm from Prakasham Vidyalaya. I'm so happy that I got a chance to interact with you, Jared sir. I have a confession to make. It's actually my dream to visit NASA. How can I turn my dream into a reality?
Hi, it's nice to meet you as well. So we have something in common because that was my dream as well as a young man. So I think that I guess the best way to make your dream a reality is, I think, obviously pursue your passions. If you do encounter challenges along the way, don't shy away from them. Just figure out how you can just make sure you stay motivated and pursue your passions. Also, figure out what types of, there's a lot of different career paths within NASA. It's not just engineering, but we have pretty much many different kind of fields. So learn about the different things that NASA does, what kind of career paths we have. Figure out what appeals most to you, and then just pursue that. That's what I would say.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for answering my question patiently.
You're welcome.
Siri, I hope you got the answer that can you get to NASA? There are a lot of Indians who've done that. Even recently, there has been one, and she's pursuing PhD, and the name is all over the place. She just belonged to a very normal school like each one of us, and it's just about the way you pursue your dream. It's nothing else. You don't need anything else. You just need to have a dream, and you just need to follow it, like Jared did, like many of the renowned people in space. Abdul Kalam had did, so many people. It is nothing else that you need. It's just the passion. It's just the dream that you need to follow. And we have a live example in terms of Mr. Jared sitting here. He wanted to go to NASA, and he made it to that place. Right?
Right.
Okay. Yes. So Yanian, yes. You were the next one to ask the question.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Yanian. I am 10 years old. I am studying in Point Calame International School. My question is, why do we do research on Moon and other planets? How does it help us?
Hi, so that's a great question, and it's nice to meet you too. So, the question was, how does learning about the moon and other planets help us? I think the more that we know about different planets and what's out there, that helps us see our place in the universe, or our place in the solar system, I guess. And I guess the space is always seen as the final frontier. So we're always looking to, explore new land, or what's the next big thing that we can accomplish. So when we went to the moon, as I mentioned, it was all about who can get there first. But now it's about how can we use the resources and live and work in an outer space environment. So I guess that would be the next major hurdle, the next thing that we want to discover and accomplish.
Thank you, sir, for answering the question.
You're welcome.
I want to add to your question, Yandil. That was a very nice question. But why is it important for us to live on moon? I mean, why to check that even? Why? I mean, why? Why is that important? I want all these students to know that.
So you're saying, why is it important to go to the moon?
Yes.
I guess as I mentioned, like as mankind, it's just a burning desire to, explore the next big thing. So like fulfilling that need and desire for exploration, that's one way. And just seeing that space travel is possible, because you can like once it's accomplished by one person, it could be available to a lot more people. So just having the luxury to travel into outer space, not just to low Earth orbit, but to deep space like the moon and beyond, just fulfilling that desire for exploration and making it available to not just astronauts, but everyone.
Thank you so much, Jared, for answering that question. And now I would like to give chance to Nivedita. You've been raising hands since long. Nivedita? Rest of the children, please be ready. I'll be giving you a chance if possible, okay? But be ready with your question. Yes,
Hello
Nivedita.
everyone, it's an honor to be here and interact with Mr. Jared. My name is Nivedita of grade 8 from Evans School of Excellence. Jared sir, my question is, what are the reasons for the limited number of human missions to the moon?
Hi, thank you for your question. So that is a really good question. So why have we not had more manned missions to the moon? And I think the best way to answer that is money. It costs, so back then it cost millions of dollars, but if you convert it to, if you account for inflation and everything, in today's society would have been billions of dollars to continue to send men to the moon. And once we accomplished that with Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins in 1969, we did have 5 more Apollo missions that landed men on the moon. But then it became kind of, so I read about this recently, the public actually lost interest in sending men to the moon because it costs so much money. And as you know, NASA is a government organization, so we have to have budget passed and things like that. So we basically, as an organization, they realized that it's better to forego or bypass sending men to the moon, or men and women. But but now the cost has basically gone down for NASA. It still costs millions of dollars, but we have private partners now. We have SpaceX, we have Blue Origin, we got Lockheed Martin, and not to mention international partners like ESA, ISRO. I'm sure they'll play a part as well. And we just have so many people willing to collaborate with us. It's not just NASA anymore that's footing that bill. So that will make space travel more possible now. So answer to your question is money. That's mainly what it comes down to.
Thank you, Nivedita, for the question.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable answer.
But yes, like Mr. Jared said, in future, we will have a lot more of such, missions of man and, basically people going to moon. Definitely, we'll be seeing a lot more of that. Initially, money was the constraint, but now it has come lowered. And like you said, a lot of private organizations have also come into play. So definitely it will be happening more often. Okay, so next question I'll quickly ask Aditya. Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Thank you for choosing me. I am truly grateful for the chance. My name is Aditya. I study in St. James International School. I am also an ardent follower of NASA. So, sir, my question is, what advice do you have for kids who want to do space research like you?
Hi, so thank you for that question. So my advice would be to, I guess, for students that want to pursue space research, learn as much as you can, take advantage of the resources that you have available to you. So the library, as I mentioned, I was always checking out books that I could get my hands on to learn more about, planets in the solar system and just space flight in general. And also, we have the advantage of having the internet. And even if you don't have the internet readily available at home, at least the libraries here in America, they have internet access that's free for the public. And with the internet, you have all kinds of information at your fingertips. So I would say just learn as much as you can about space research. You can learn also a lot at school. So definitely pay attention in all your classes. And excelling academically, that really opens a lot of doors for you as well. So I'd say, to summarize, learn as much as you can independently and also in school, and just really apply yourself and pursue what you're passionate about.
Thank you, sir. It's really exciting to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, I'll not waste time here, and I'll just call the next person, Rishank. Rishank?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Good evening to everyone present here. I thank my school for giving me this opportunity. Respected sir, my question to you is, what is a black hole and how powerful is it?
This question
Yes.
always.
Yeah. So black hole is basically discontinuity in space. So it basically absorbs all light, anything that hits it, any kind of mass, even light. So that's why it appears black in space. And you're asking how powerful is it? It's hard to know for sure how powerful it is, but if anything that can absorb light, I would say is very powerful, and you obviously don't want to go near it if you're in space. So.
Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Mr. Jared, you have more than a decade of experience. You've already been part of some of the most important projects at NASA. So I want to know, what is your dream mission? What is something that you want to explore more about in space?
So me personally?
Yes.
Or just yeah, so it's no secret that I've loved spaceflight since I was a kid. I would say it's always been a desire of mine to travel to space one day. I would honestly be fine with a mission to the space station, because there's a lot of very cool experiments happening there, and experiments that benefit humanity. So there's like cancer research and medicine development, things like that. So a mission to the space station that's in low Earth orbit, and it's been done so many times, so safety wouldn't be an issue. That's something personally that I would look out for myself. But as far as where I want to see NASA go, I would like to see us. I'm really looking forward to what we do with Artemis, like sending men back and women back to the moon, and then traveling to Mars. That would be great to at least see that happen in my lifetime. Yeah.
I think we all are living the same dream. We all want the same things to happen. And no matter who does it and how it happens, but we really want, some like men to reach Mars and be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'll just take up the next question now, and it's Sri Shashank. Sri Shashank. Siddharth, yes, I'll try to give you also
Yes,
chance.
sir. A very good evening, sir. Very good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I request you to give me the privilege of your time. I have a question. I am Sri Shashank from Oxford International School. I study in grade 10. And my question to you, sir, is In approximately 5 to 7 billion years, scientists predict that the sun will undergo a transformation and explode. So can we build any advanced space items, space equipment, such that we can survive?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I would like to think in that amount of time. So I think this ties back into what we talked about earlier. Just technology is advancing so rapidly. The things that we develop hundreds of years from now are just going to be, it would blow our minds. So I think there's no limit to what mankind can accomplish. So I would like to say yes, but I think spaceflight has to come a very, very long way. As far as building something to protect us from the sun, that's hard for me to believe right now. So I think our best bet would be finding another planet that's like the Earth. But it's a question we could talk about for a long time. But I like this question a lot. So
Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so the next question I'll quickly take up because we have limited time now. Sanvi. Sanvi, are you there? Okay, so we will move to Anush. Anush. Anush, are you there? Okay. Shravan? What happened? Shravan not there. Anush not there. Aisha? Yes, Aisha. Please ask a question.
Hello, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Aisha Zoya. I study in Prestige National School. My question to you is, sir, everybody has role models growing up. Who was your role model growing up?
All right, so that's a good question. So of course my parents were my role models. I saw them every day and I saw I looked up to them naturally. But I'd say another role model that I had was Neil Armstrong, just because he was the first man on the moon, and he was the first one to accomplish that feat. And I just looked to him because that's something that I wanted to do myself. So yeah, Neil Armstrong was definitely at the top of my list.
Aisha, did your question get answered? Okay, next question is coming from Krish Bala. Okay, Krish Bala. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Krish Bala from Arabana Indian School, India. Respected sir, my question is, in 2015, Kepler satellite found out Kepler 452b, which is similar to our planet Earth, but it took 1,200 light years. Is it possible for humans to inhabit that place, sir?
Yes, that's a really good question. So yes, I have heard about different planets being discovered that are similar to Earth as far as like atmosphere and can sustain life, things like that. I think that in our lifetime, it's not possible, of course, but I think, as we were talking about before, I think that usually we shouldn't see any limit to what mankind can accomplish. And just with how far technology has come, I think that eventually we will get there. I think maybe not light years away, but maybe we'll find a planet similar to Earth that's closer, maybe with James Webb Space Telescope. We can find one that's more within reach. And I'm hopeful for the future for sure.
Thank you for answering that question, Jared. Sir, next question is coming from Kavya.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kavya from Himalayan School, India. Respected sir, my question to you is, have you ever visited India? If not, then which part of India would you like to visit first?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, I have not visited India yet, but I'm planning to go with my wife and my newborn son. I would love to go to Hyderabad because that's where my wife's from. And the Taj Mahal, I think that's one of the 7 wonders of the world. I definitely want to go there. There's just so many places in India. It's such a really interesting country. It has all kinds of different things to see. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Mumbai is another one. I want to go there.
Thank you for answering my question, sir.
Kavya, any suggestions for Jared, sir? Where should...
Ma'am, India Gate, Gateway of India.
Okay, you should definitely visit Delhi and Mumbai.
Yeah. I see Kerala, somebody said that in the chat too.
Yes, it's very beautiful. And I think the entire India is beautiful. Okay, so next question is coming from Rishi Nand.
Hello, sir, and everyone present here. My name is Rishnandan of grade 8 from Rubels High School, Karimnagar, Telangana, India. Respected Jared sir, my question to you is, what would happen if astronauts don't wear spacesuits in space? Are there any alternatives to spacesuits to prevent the damage?
Hi, so I think you're referring to so astronauts, of course, when they travel outside of their spaceship, they have to wear those suits so that they have air to breathe and to protect them from the radiation in outer space, because there's an incredible amount of radiation when you travel outside of Earth's atmosphere. So our atmosphere protects us so that we're not as exposed to those harmful radiative rays, I guess. So it definitely sustains them, and like they'll die without it. They can't leave the space shuttle or spaceship without having some form of protection. One more thing to add, even in the spaceship, they're exposed to some kind of radiation, but the hope is that the spaceship is able to sustain it.
Thank you, sir, for answering my question, and I'm very excited to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, next question is coming from Krish Bala.
Just now I asked the question.
Oh, you sorry. You again said, I'm so sorry. Okay, so last question is Sahasra. Okay, Siddhartha, I'll give you the chance. Wait. Sahasra? Okay, So Astrid pushed the question that what is your daily routine like working in NASA? Is it really exciting?
Yeah, so my routine has changed quite a bit, as you can imagine, with COVID. That basically changed things for a lot of people. So now, most of the time I work from home, which is, it's nice because actually, yeah, I work from home and I work on site sometimes, like where I actually go physically into the office. And the days change. Every day is a little different. So, if I work from home, all my meetings are, virtual. So like this, where we don't use Zoom, but we use Microsoft Teams, which is like pretty much very similar. And even if you can't meet face to face, you can still get a lot done just talking virtually. So we have meetings. So usually my meetings are in the morning, and then I'll get to work on different projects. So like if I'm working from home, I'll do a lot of modeling and simulation of different aircraft parts, as well as spacecraft projects as well. So, and if I'm on site, I'll do projects that are more hands-on. So any kind of testing or fabrication of hardware, going into the lab and doing things. So it really changes from day to day, and I get a wide range of experiences. So it's really nice.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sahasra, you want to ask any other question?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, please do ask.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
There is a talk about infinity universe. Is it real?
Yes, so the universe is infinite. It doesn't, as far as we know, it doesn't have an end or beginning. It's just infinite. And I would say, like, as you travel further and further out, you'll see even more galaxies full of cosmic rays, cosmic energy, not lunar dust, but different types of dust, interstellar dust, things like that. Black holes, which seem to be a point of fascination, and different planets we haven't discovered yet as well.
Okay, Shivan Goyal, I'm giving you the chance. You can ask.
Can't hear.
Shivank, you're not audible. Yes, please ask now. Oh, no, Shivansh, you're not audible. You'll have to write on chat. Okay, Siddharth has been raising hands since long. Siddharth, can we give chance to Siddharth? Okay, so many questions. Okay, I'll just quickly ask because we don't have time now, just 1 minute left. So this question is coming time and again, that what is NASA's favorite mission of all the missions that have been done so far as an organization?
So it's hard to say like what's NASA's favorite mission, but I'll give it a shot. I'll say I would, on behalf of all of NASA, I'll say that Apollo is our favorite mission just because of what we've accomplished. What we accomplished on that mission, just putting men on the moon, and what's been accomplished since then, just showing us that it is possible to send astronauts into outer space. And even if we're not we haven't sent astronauts to the moon in a long time, but what we're doing in low Earth orbit with the space station, just all the discoveries that are made day in and day out, that's definitely like huge accomplishments are being made that just impact daily life pretty much every day.
Yes, that was like the starting. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this session also that, achieving the impossible. So before that, it was like really like, someone can go to the moon, a man can go to the moon. It was like all impossible. And the Apollo missions really made it possible. So definitely, it's like one of our favorite missions too. And now I want to ask this because this brings me to my final question right now, Mr. Jared, that what is your message to like thousands of kids are here right now, like, from a lot of schools here. And what like you dream to be in space someday. And still, I mean, not just space, they have dreams, What is your message that you want to give them? They're enchantingly watching you live right now.
Yeah, so I think that it's great that we have so many young people that are so interested in space, because they're not just space research, but all the STEM fields in general, because it's so important to continue to progress in advanced technology and keep going one step forward for the next generation. So I'm very happy to see so many people on here today. Thank you all for the messages. I do see them in the chat. I can't answer all of them, but I would say keep your passions alive. Keep pursuing your passions, what you're very interested in. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't accomplish something. So most of the time, if they tell you that, they just can't accomplish it themselves. And if you encounter any challenges along the way, remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Like, what was it that sparked your interest in that specific thing? So for me, when I was going through graduate school to pursue my master's, I had a lot of obstacles I had to overcome, but I always came back to that poster that was right over my desk in my lab, and that was The Year in Space, and that was with Scott Kelly, who was a NASA astronaut. He spent a year in space with a cosmonaut from Russia, Mikhail, I forget his last name, but just seeing what they accomplished, all the challenges I'm sure that they had to overcome, that kept me going. And just knowing that I interned at NASA and like why I became interested in spaceflight in the first place, that just really kept me going through those tough times. So I would say hold on to that fire and stay passionate, always learn, keep your desire for learning alive as well.
I think we're ending on a very beautiful note, that keep your desire for learning alive and hold on to that fire. Like you were always motivated, going back to that poster, thinking that, they must have overcome so many obstacles, and so can we. So we should never leave our dreams. We should always chase them, whatever believe in, whatever. It can be going to space, it can be anything. So just don't leave that ever. And that's a beautiful message Jared sir has left us with. I'm sure you all are having so many questions to ask, many, many more. You can just give it to us in written. We will try to get the answers, as many as possible, because, it's not possible to have all the questions. But thank you so much for attending. I'm sure it was a very motivating session for you. We will keep coming back with more such sessions with more famous personalities, and definitely we will have Jared sir again. And it was a pleasure to have all of you, and definitely our keynote speaker for today. I would like to thank from everyone for giving your time, sir. It was a great session with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with all of you. I hope I can answer your questions that you had. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of them in the chat, but yeah, thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you, everyone. So we will end the session now. Have a great evening. Keep dreaming, and always try to achieve. Never think anything is impossible. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, Sakshi.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Hey.
Bye.
I see you later.